Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm Andrew Axum with Axum Outdoor Adventure, Axeman on the Slingshot forum. It is a beautiful, crisp autumn morning, and I'm going to do some experimental band making today. I'm going to make some bands out of some latex and some other rubber material that I've acquired from different places. And although this isn't really going to be a review of the Axiom Ocularis, I am going to demonstrate why this is my go-to frame when it comes to testing stuff. I mean, this thing I consider one of the workhorses of the slingshot world. You look at that thing, it looks like an old Willys Jeep coming down the road at you. Just kind of exudes toughness. So I'm going to go in the garage, make up some bands, go out back and test them, and see what this thing will show us. So the first material I'm going to test is this reddish orange latex. My buddy Mike gave me a small roll of this. I think it may have actually came from resistance bands. It's very thin, not sure how it'll do as a slingshot band, but we'll give it a try. First thing I'm going to do is test the thickness of it with my calipers, and comes in at a 0.1. So like I said, this stuff's very thin. So I'm going to go ahead and band up this Axiom frame. Now, with this band material being as thin as it is, I'm going to have to fold it back on itself at least once to keep it from slipping out of these plugs. Generally, these plugs do a great job of holding the material in there, but with stuff this thin, it will slip right out. So I purposely left them a little longer so that I can do that. I'm going to go ahead and band it up. So I have the Axiom banded up with the 0.1 material. I'm going to go ahead and test the draw weight to see what it is. I know it'll be extremely light. 2.76 pounds, so it is really light. Let's go out in the backyard and see what it'll do. So I'm out in the backyard. I have the Axiom banded up with the 0.1 material. I'm going to test this material with clay, but just because I already have the chronograph and my catch box set up, I'm going to go ahead and shoot a couple of 8mm steels through this just to see what kind of speeds it gets. I'm just curious. So it looks like 135 and 138. The first shot didn't even make it into the catch box. The second one did, but just barely. Okay, so I have the paper plate set up. I have some clay. I'm going to shoot the first couple of clay. I'm going to intentionally not hit the plate. I just want to see what speeds the 0.1 will send the clay through the chronograph. And then I'm going to take 5 shots on the plate and see if I can get it on there at all and what I can do with it. $167.6 feet per second. I'm going to pull back a little farther. That was actually lower, 145.8. Okay, so the speeds, even with clay, were low, like I expected. I'm going to take 5 shots now and just see if I can get them on the plate. Okay, so these clay are not even, I mean, they're just barely tapping the plate and then falling down. They're not penetrating the plate. So my conclusion is the 0.1 material, no good for slingshot bands. Maybe it's good for other things, but we're not going to use it for slingshot bands. All right, so next I'm going to test this blue latex. It's still very thin. It's a little thicker than the red we just tried. So I'm going to go ahead and test it with calipers. See what it measures. Now, this is coming up at a 0.3. Okay, so I have the blue material banded up on the Axiom, and I'm going to test the draw weight. I have this set for 6 inches, my active band length. I'm going to bring this up real quick though. That's another thing I like about the Axiom and the plug system is that you can adjust your active band length. And what I like to do sometimes is actually make marks on the latex with different inches and experiment a little bit, because with the plugs you don't have to cut it, and I know you can manipulate it on a clip system, but I feel like it's easier to experiment with your active band length on the plug system. So that's another advantage of it. But let's go ahead and test the draw weight of this. That comes in at a 5.24. All right, let's go out back and see what it'll do. Okay, I'm going to shoot a few clay through the chronograph and just see what kind of speeds the 0.3 gives us on there. 189.2. 190.2. Okay, so I feel like the 0.3 is a marked improvement over the 0.1 as far as speeds. What kind of group can I get with this though? I'm going to put a new plate up, shoot 5, and see what it looks like. Alright, so on the 0.3, my 5 shots came in here, here, but then I got 3 up here in a fairly close proximity. One of them's even touching the bullseye. Okay, just for curiosity, I'm going to send a couple of steel through the chronograph with the 0.3, see what kind of speeds we get, see if I can make a dent in the can. .165.6, and looks like I at least made a dent in the can. So all right, the 0.3 I feel like has potential, probably for BBs, maybe for clay if you adjust the band length to suit your needs, but so definitely better than the 0.1. All right, so there is one final type of material that I want to try to make a band out of today and test it, and that is a pallet band. This is one long rubber band that they use to put around pallets, and these are used on docks and in shipping and receiving. So I'm going to go ahead and make a band out of this, take it out in the backyard, and test it out. All right, so I was able to build a band out of the pallet band material. I tapered it as best I could from 19 to 15. This stuff's very thick. I'm going to measure it here in just a minute with the calipers and then test the draw weight, but I pretty much know how this is going to go because on the Slingshot forum I was able to find a thread from back around 2013, I think, where some guys were doing exactly this and talking about it. I know this stuff's not going to really work, but just in the spirit of experimentation, I kind of wanted to try it because I had it and just see the numbers for myself. But it's going to be fun either way. So I'm going to measure it, take it out back and test it, see how it does. So first, let's check the draw weight. Good Lord. 26.7 pounds. And on the calipers, it comes up at a 1.8 millimeter. All right, I'm going to try a shot with 9.5 millimeter steel, see what kind of speeds it gives us. 99.7. 102.3. I'm going to try an 11 millimeter just out of curiosity. 84.6. Well, that was a lot of fun. I like experimenting. I like trying different things. I like to learn about the different characteristics and qualities of some different materials that I might want to make bands with. If the 0.1 could be considered a failure, then I think we could agree the 1.8 could be considered a dismal failure. I don't see any redeeming qualities in this stuff as far as Slingshot bands are concerned. The 0.1, you know, I don't know, maybe if you had some BBs and some BB bands, you could do something with that. The 0.3, I definitely feel like I could make some BB bands out of that. For me, part of the fun of slingshotting is the experimentation and trying different things. It's one of the things I love about the hobby of slingshots is there's really no wrong way to do it. And I read a lot of comments on social media from different guys saying, well, I only use this material, or I only use these pouches, or I only like this tying material. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with finding something you like and sticking with it. But I also like to try different things just for my own information, just for the feedback. I like learning about different properties. I knew I was never going to use this stuff to make bands out of, but I wanted to try it since I got a hold of one and just see what it would do. I just found that fun. Personally, I find sniper sling band material to be my favorite out there, but that doesn't mean I never want to try any other things and just see what it'll do. So I encourage you to experiment a little bit, try, see if you have fun doing it. I bet you will. Well, that's going to do it this time for Axum Outdoor Adventure. I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe these videos if you enjoy them. And also, don't forget to click the bell icon so you can get alerts anytime we put out new content. Thanks for watching.